Whatever means you use to find a lodge, make sure to ask the lodge owner for references. Better yet, if you know family or friends who have been to a lodge, you'll be sure to get an accurate report. Another thing to consider is whether or not a lodge or outfitter is insured and/or bonded. This is a precaution to cover accidents or other unfortunate situations that may occur while you're at a camp or lodge. In recent years, travel agencies and outdoor booking agents have begun offering trip insurance. This can be a really great thing to take advantage of, especially on high-dollar trips. For example, say it rains 5 days in a row and the river turns to chocolate soup, and the chance of catching a fish is lower than winning the lottery. Trip insurance will help you get a prorated refund on the affected days, or allow you to rebook another trip at no charge. Another North American fisherman staff member who has traveled extensively the last few years is North American Fisherman Managing Editor Kurt Beckstrom. Here's Kurt to give you some tips on avoiding hidden costs and other pointers on the financial end of a trip.
I was just going through a couple of lodge brochures, trying to line up a fishing trip for my family later this year. And one thing that occurs to me when you're looking at these, the brochure right from the lodge is going to be your number one source of information. Now you're going to want to read the brochure very carefully, because somewhere inside, either in the bold print or in the fine print, it's going to tell you exactly what's covered under your base rate. For instance, on travel days, frequently there's going to be a hotel cost involved going into the lodge and a lot of times coming back out of the lodge. And you want to know who's responsible for those hotel costs, you or the lodge owner. Plus there's transportation. You're going to have to get from the airport to the hotel and then back to the airport again. Is that your cost or his? Now when you're talking to the lodge owner, either at a sports show or over the phone, you want to ask about a few things. The main thing being incidentals. What's covered under your base rate? Boats, guide services, all your meals, beverages. Does he supply fishing tackle? Is your fishing license included? Those are all things you have to remember to ask about or find out about in the brochures when you're planning a trip. Those are the things that you can easily forget that could end up being a big surprise at the end. One of the main considerations are fly-out trips from the main lodge to an outpost lake or an outpost camp. You want to find out well in advance whether these are covered under your base rate or is it an additional expense. Costs like this can really add up. Then there's a matter of tipping. Now some lodges you might go to will have a very big staff, guides, maybe deckhands, dock boys, wait staff, and the people that take care of your room, plus the cooks. Some lodges won't have that many people. It's best to find out before you go what the size of the staff is and ask the lodge owner for his or her tipping guidelines. A lot of times they'll be right in the brochures as well. And remember, tipping is a reflection of the service that was provided. If the staff took care of you real well, you caught a lot of fish and you had a good time, remember, tip them accordingly. Another thing to consider if you travel internationally is the monetary exchange rate. A lot of times you get more bang for the buck with US currency. Other times, it's going to work the other way around. Now when it comes to traveling in Canada, you have to be aware that they have a goods and services tax. And more often than not, you'll probably be eligible for reimbursement of the portion of those taxes that you incur in Canada. Check with your lodge owner for details. Now some countries might require you to purchase a tourist card for a nominal fee of $15 or $20, or you might be charged a departure tax when you leave. Check with your travel agent for details like this. Now the last thing you want to have happen on that final day when you're settling up with the lodge owner is to get hit with a bunch of expenses that you weren't expecting. If you follow these guidelines and take care of all these details before you go, you're going to make sure that you go home with nothing but great memories of your trip of a lifetime.